In 1954, the Jason Motor and Electronics Company started making FM tuners in both ready-made and kit form. These tuners varied from simple local station only models to fringe reception variants. Here we can see a selection of magazine ads which later on included both tuners and some test equipment. In 1956, the company produced an AM-FM tuner, an advertisement of which you can see here surrounding red. This is the model that I bought a few years back in a non-working condition. After replacing a couple of valves, relocating another couple which were in the wrong holders and changing a few capacitors, I managed to make it work. Here we have an example of a Jason AM-FM tuner, AM being just medium wave. Unfortunately you can't see terribly well here, but the dial here actually is showing all the stations you could pick up on medium wave, whereas the red one underneath we can still see has the light, third and home. Now, back when this thing was made, we were talking about the 3 stations and there was nothing else. There was a police presence further up the band, and this stops at 100 megahertz. Whereas modern FM, of course, goes from 88 to 108. So this is leaving off the top bit. And of course, today we'd have the local radio stations in the UK and other countries, obviously, further up the band. But that's all there was at the time. There is not a lot more to see about it. It's not exactly a pretty design. This is sort of like a gold, crackle finish. Not really very exciting. But anyway, that's what it looked like. The 2 controls on the front, these are blanks. This is an off medium wave and FM, and this is what they used to call flywheel tuning. And it's flywheel tuning because there's a big heavy weight. You can see it spins along. Looking down the chassis, we can see the full complement of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 valves, dual gang tuning capacitor with 2 halves to each one. There's obviously the low capacitance FM section and the higher capacitance for the medium wave. This transformer looks like a bit like overkill to me, judging by the fact that I don't think this ever had an amplifier in it. So, but anyway, it's good to have something big rather than too small. Not a great deal of bits on the underside. Here is the flywheel from the flywheel tuning. Not quite sure what this, I think it's just an alloy. I had a feeling they were lead. This one doesn't feel like lead to me. So that's the flywheel tuning. You can see the various inductors here. Not that many components. There's most of them along this end here. There's a couple of capacitors I put in there. There's another capacitor in here. And I put a fuse in there because I don't think there was a fuse in there at all originally. So I put one in there. Obviously I think it's far safer to have one. Has a voltage selection switch here at the side for choosing different mains voltages. I think it was 200, 210 and 230. Anyway, that's it. Yes, I can see I've changed these ones as well. There's a couple of capacitors changed here. So aside from that, it's all pretty much original. Here's a closer look at the dial. Unfortunately, this is almost invisible because although there are 2 dial lamps either side, even in the dark you can't read what it says here at all. These are quite clear, the FM ones, but everything ranging from BBC, and it gives all the foreign stations. You speak at Hilversum, Athens, Paris, Welsh Regional, Brussels, Lyon, all these are on the medium wave. This here, as somebody may have already seen it, somebody may have seen this, is actually a Magic Eye tuning indicator. Now obviously it's had a long and hard life, and there's very little to show of it working, but it is working. I'll show you in a minute. You can still just about see it doing its job. In a minute I shall be demonstrating the tuner through this thing. Somebody who's looked at the videos on the channel might recognise it as being a shortwave radio project that I made some time back, and interestingly enough I put a facility on it to just use the amplifier and speaker. So how convenient is that? I'm going to use the amplifier and speaker in here on the 3rd setting, so shortwave 1, shortwave 2 and the line input, and that will come from the tuner, and we'll see the tuner working through the speaker. Okay, time to turn it on. One click takes us to the medium wave, and we'll just let that warm up. I've turned the amplifier on already, so hopefully it'll work in a sec. There we go. very, very little being picked up. Horrible sound. The aerial's about 2 feet long, which is obviously not ideally suited for medium wave at the best of times. Interference from somewhere. Okay, let's switch to FM. These are right up at the, that's 99, not a lot beyond there. So I think this probably needs properly aligning because it seems that the tracking's wrong, but Radio 4.
In the future of the continent.
In Washington, there is a new sheriff in town. And under Donald Trump's leadership, we may disagree with your views.
Next is Radio 3. And Radio 2 is the last one. So there we go. I will show you the Magic Eye working, just as the last thing. You can just about see the faint green glow from what's left of the tuning indicator, the Magic Eye. It would have been a lot longer. Also there's a little dot at the end, but unfortunately this is all that's left of it. It still works, although you can barely see it. I've quickly tuned through the band. Have a look. First one will be Radio 4.
Brief. J.D. speech is a definitive between Europe and America.
That's Radio 3. Radio 2 should be the last one.
Verge, remember that? Look at voice now then. That was keen, of course, on the exercise break for the next hour. Burning calories for my lovely wife, Lisa.
There we have it. One Jason AM FM tuner from circa 1950 something or other. So it's quite a few years old. I was thinking of selling this after doing the video, but I'm not so sure now. I rather like it. So I think it'll pop it back in its box and put it up in the loft, and I'm sure I'll come up with a use for it in the future. Hope this is of interest to someone who likes old equipment. Thanks for watching.